Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 127, which is called Makeout Tactics. And this was a pretty, fun, nice episode. Just kind of, the highlight obviously being a lot of just different character interactions. But they also, I suppose, double down on the idea that Urashiki's still out there and we are dealing with him kind of directly. Also, I think we know we're getting some episodes where Boruto is going to interact with a younger Naruto, and I assume that's what the ancient relic on the ocean floor thing was. That's going to be our, quote unquote, time travel device type of thing to allow that to happen. Either that, or this is going to be what they seal Urashiki in, or something like that. But there was actually a surprising amount of just little important bits in this episode, in addition to it just being good because you got to see more of Shino, Kiba, Choji, even Boruto and Sasuke interacting, Hinata getting a lot of dialogue in the episode. Those are sort of stuff that we've kind of been wanting just a little bit more of in the background, and we got a lot of it in this episode. And it's definitely overall this episode I think was set up for that. In the new opening here, we got to see a lot of younger Naruto as well. So they're definitely building towards that idea of Boruto now really wants to know what Naruto was like when he was younger, and he's going to get to see that directly up close, which could be pretty cool depending on how exactly they do it. But just overall, this episode was nice just to see, finally them learning about Jiraiya, and this was Naruto's master, and I didn't know he had a master, and them saying that Jiraiya was an amazing shinobi, he was more powerful than Naruto and Sasuke at the time, and then of course the title of the episode, Makeout Tactics, comes into play. Jiraiya wrote that book. It's Kakashi's favorite book, and of course the Sarada and Boruto primarily, but then Chocho sort of gets in on it. They all want to read this to find out what it is. This legendary shinobi wrote it. It must be filled with advice and stuff like that. And it was just the ongoing joke of all of the adult characters, basically our original Naruto characters, basically being oh, I don't really want to talk about it, but the way that they do talk about it, it just makes them want to read it more and more. Because none of them will come out and just directly say, you can't read this book because it's just utterly unsuitable for you because Jiraiya was a pervert, basically. None of them are going to say that, so it just makes the intrigue about the book even more, and they're all very vague about, you're not old enough to read this book, don't read it, stay away from it, but it just builds that they really do want to know what it is. It was just an episode of just those fun interactions. I think the highlights would definitely be Hinata talking to Himawari and Boruto about what Naruto was like. Just that thing of Hinata doesn't talk a lot. She talks a little bit more now that she's an adult, but just this dialogue about Naruto is the most pretty much we've ever seen her sort of continuously talk, and the fact that it is about Naruto and what he was like, and getting into how she felt about him. It was just a very kind of cute moment, and Boruto and Himawari both got behind the idea of you've been in love with Naruto for since you were that young, so that's sort of a new thing that they found out, and she gets kind of embarrassed about it. We also got a little bit of sort of, Sakura, Sasuke. They didn't interact, but just the idea of them wanting to make the meal for him, and then he comes back, reads the letter, and is very kind of happy about that. I think there's a little bit of setup with the whole idea of Sasuke does need to spend more time with his family, but also how sort of kind of in a way distant he's kind of being, or at least clarifying to Boruto that Naruto's relationship with Jiraiya is nothing like ours, because that developed so over time and it was so close. Jiraiya was effectively Naruto's father figure growing up. We're not like that yet, and they definitely set up the idea that a large reason for that is that Sasuke, I think, doesn't really know exactly if he should or should not tell Boruto about the exact scope of why he's kind of not in some of those kind of pictures of them all when they were younger. Like he says, I lost my way, but Boruto sort of just takes it as, oh, you got lost before that one. So, I think Boruto learning about just exactly how far sort of Sasuke fell is going to be a very interesting one, because I assume when that finally is told to Boruto, it's going to be another thing that makes him sort of appreciate his father, the fact that Naruto got sort of Sasuke back, and the lengths that he went for him and so on, and that's sort of why Sasuke is so kind of devoted to assisting Naruto at this point in time. So I think there's just a lot of nice sort of little character interaction type moments and setup for stuff that's still to come that we're waiting for, especially with where the manga is right now and what they just did in the last chapter. I think the setup is kind of clear enough that Sasuke and Boruto, their kind of dynamic, their master-student dynamic is going to have to become a lot closer. That training is really going to have to accelerate now, and it's going to be interesting to see just how sort of close they actually do get. So that was a nice one to definitely see. Also, I think just them mentioning the legendary Sannin for kind of the first time in a while, Otsunade, and also mentioning that it's Orochimaru as well, which there was no real reaction of anyone to the fact that Orochimaru was one of the Sannin and the Mitsuki connection there, but that could be something they come back to at some point. But yeah, it's just not a fun interactions. Even just seeing Kiba being his usual self at this point in time of I turned down the role of Hokage because Naruto really wanted it, and bigging himself up, but Sarada not quite believing it, but Boruto kind of getting sucked in a little bit was pretty fun. The ancient relic, they mentioned it, they showed it on the screen in the background twice, so it's clearly they brought that up for a reason. That is going to come back at some point. Is it connected to the Urashiki stuff, or is it something different? I am leaning right now towards that being the thing that allows Boruto to have those episodes that I think are coming up where he meets younger Naruto. I assume it will be some sort of time travel-y type thing or whatever. They didn't mention there's sealing jutsu on it, but it is a chamber type thing, so I don't know exactly how we're going to get there, but I assume it gets raised off the ocean floor. It's potentially, I suppose, brought back to the Leaf Village, and it's being worked on. Boruto kind of goes in, happens to sort of find some way to break through the last seal, goes into it, gets transported to meet Naruto, and we get that sort of odd arc that we're going on. I don't know how it necessarily fits in with the setup happening right now when the next episode is Boruto and Sasuke teaming up to do something with Urashiki. So it's kind of weird about where exactly we're going. The pacing of Boruto at times has been very, very slow, but all of a sudden now there's so much going on, the fun interactions. They're setting up this kind of generational type arc of Naruto and Boruto meeting when Naruto was younger, and the ongoing Urashiki stuff that we're still waiting to see if they commit to anything with, and so on. But these are the type of episodes that while they're not the absolute best, these are the ones I like to see. I like that they're not I like that they're willing to put multiple original Naruto characters in the same episode, because especially early Boruto I think did it a lot where this is an episode that is unique because Choji's in it, just Choji. Whereas here it's just the entire cast can just be in the episode. We can have Sasuke, we can have Hinata, Kiba, Shino, and so on. We can have all of these characters pretty much make an appearance in the episode. There's no need to sort of hold them back or anything like that. But they're my thoughts on the episode. I'm excited for what's to come over the next couple of weeks. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.